Welcome to Carver Conversations. I'm your host, Tiff Marchand from Night Carver Designs, and this is a Saburrtooth podcast. Today on the show, we have Nicole from Elocin Handmade and Jenna from Chainsaw Jenna. These two are very diverse artists, but we all share one thing in common. We all have a huge love for power carving. It was a really good time hanging out with them. They're both so fun, and we could have talked for quite a while. I think we actually did go a little bit long, but it was just really nice, getting to know them, hearing their stories, and finding out how they got into power carving. We hope you enjoyed the show, and if you're looking to get some burrs today, we have a special show code. It's all caps. It's EM2CO, and that is going to save you 10% off. All right, I hope you enjoy the show. I do appreciate you guys both taking an hour to come hang out.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been watching, since I've started running the social media for Saburrtooth, I've seen your guys' stuff come up over and over again, and I just love both of your styles, both very different, but you can just see your passions about what you do. Like Jenna makes these crazy cool videos too on top of it, which are a lot of fun, and then
I can't take all the credit for that, though.
I was going to talk to you about that. Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Yeah. I was saying, and then Nicole's got these amazing photos. Just everything has right? It's just all cast perfectly. So,
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you get every detail too. That's what I really admire. You just show all your detail.
Oh, thanks.
You do. You have a great way of presenting. Yeah.
Thanks. I really like the photo aspect of it too, almost as much.
Yeah, I bet. Well, it looks like it. You can see that there's time taken, to put the lighting just perfectly.
Thanks. Yeah, when we did the Women in Turning project, where it was three of us did the project together, and we put all the pieces together, and it's like a mollusk, and then there's all these little parts of cells and everything. And that was 3 days of fussing and the lighting and figuring it all out, because I wanted it to be because it's the other ladies' work too, and I wanted to boost their stuff too. So yeah, little extra dedication there. So yeah,
that's cool.
Jenna, let's get into it, since you already kind of hinted at it. How are you getting help with your videos? Because I'm she's got all these cool angles and stuff too.
Yeah, that's probably the most frequently asked question.
I'm sure.
So I have a partner in crime. It's my husband, Benjamin. Okay. And he is absolutely fantastic. He is amazing at what he does. And we just started doing it together. I was carving and he just started filming me, and we just kept doing it. And we're just having fun with it. So
yeah, I mean, it looks like it. The one that caught my attention was the Ghostbuster. I don't know if you saw it, Nicole, but she had this Ghostbusters video. And I was oh, she committed. She would put the whole suit on and everything.
Yeah. We have a couple other ideas that we're going to get into, but we'll just have to wait for those.
Good. That's fun. Yeah. Anything like that catches my eye if it's, nerdy, because that's what I specialize in. So I'm pop culture. I got you.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of know a little bit of your history, Jenna, just because your mother told me.
Yeah, she started getting on social media, so it's really cool. I'm really, really proud of my mom. I'm really happy for her. Yeah, she's one of my role models. Both my parents are actually chainsaw artists. We grew up traveling a lot when I was younger, always on the road during the summer. But for me, it wasn't as fun, because I had two younger siblings, and for me being the oldest,
you are taking care of them. Okay.
So I was on babysit duty most of my summer, and so I didn't really get to actually hands-on do a lot of carving. And it wasn't until I moved out and married Ben, and we started doing it here, and that's when Chainsaw Jenna really started to take off. It was a lot self-taught. I'm really it was really cool to be blessed to have all those tools at such a young age, Saburrtooth, and so, but can't really play with them when you're 12 years old. So
yeah, you can. I have a daughter. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not now, but when she's 12, yeah.
Yeah. I do plan on having my kids try it out when they're a little older. They're 6 now, so a little too young.
Yeah.
But it's for sure something I want to have them learn, like all the little things,
That's cool. Yeah.
Mommy needs helpers.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Like you do
Yeah.
need those little helpers. So.
Sweepers.
Yeah.
That's what I need. Like, sweepers and dusters, because I want to do that anyway.
Right? Someone to come behind you and just vacuum all the dust while you're working.
Oh, I could give her a little dust buster and she could just like
there you go, the dust buster.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Nicole, how did you get into all of this?
My dad is a wood turner.
Oh, cool.
Well, he was a woodworker, and he became more of a wood turner. Started in the 80s, and then it's the same as Jenna. It's like you're always around it, and it's always there. And then once I got a house and had space for a lathe, and I got that, and then one of my wood turning buddies, he was talking about these bits that had these points, and it took me a long time to figure out what it was. And then that was the Saburrtooth bits.
That's cool. So you had a friend that suggested it to you. That's neat.
Yeah, because everything was like round and brown. It was wood and it was really symmetric, which is nice, and it can be really pretty. But I was like trying to branch out of it, and I was doing it all by hand, and it's a lot of work by hand. So so that's how that started. Yeah,
that's cool. It's nice to have a friend that leads you in the right direction and not keep you like wasting your time. You know what I mean? Not using the right tools.
Yeah, and it's a thing to step out of it. Like I'm not. It's more accepted now, but before it was like, well, how much of that is turning and how much is that of that is carving? But now it's like everybody's into it now. A lot of people are into it.
I've seen a huge uptick of people who turn that have
and
been carving their stuff. Yeah.
I really like it. It just adds another dimension to it, and it just gives a lot of flow and move, like a little extra flow and movement, and it can add such beautiful flavor. Yeah, it adds a lot of textures and just like to touch it feels interesting when they do those repeating patterns, or when I do those repeating patterns, it adds such a texture that it makes you want to touch it. Whereas sometimes if it's really shiny, you feel like, oh, it's a little bit precious, but then when it's really got that texture, you want to
I love the hand motions. Sorry.
I got really into that.
That's passion right there. That's passion. That's all. But no, I know what you mean. Like when I do my signs, like the edges, I want people to go up and touch the edges of that sign. You know what I mean? And like I have them carved on the CNC because again, I want them to touch the art. Like I know usually people are like, don't touch that, but I'm like, no, go ahead.
I know, right? Like, you know, they got to get a feel of it before they take it home too, you know? Like, they're going to touch it either way when they take it home, so.
Exactly.
Jenna, do you sell your stuff online, or like do people see it in person?
Yeah, I actually have an online stuff. It's eBay actually. But a lot of the time I do like the shows too. So I'll take like all the stuff off online, and then I'll take it to my shows, and then when I get back from the show, whatever's left, I put back on.
Do you find that you get a lot more people who buy when they can actually put their hands on it, touch it, turn it over, feel the weight of it, or do you get like a fair bit on eBay also?
That's a good question.
It is, yeah.
That I'd probably say maybe 50-50. I don't know, because like when people see it in person, it's different. You know, like you see a photo, and like the photo, everyone knows the photo doesn't do justice on literally anything. So I think in person, people just have that more like personal connection with your piece, you know, and you get to also meet like the artist too behind it. So there's also like a face. That's where like social media is really awesome, because that's how people can like put a face to your artwork now. You know?
Right.
Yeah, I've talked about that in the past. Like when I first started, it was very much not showing your face, just show the product.
Yeah.
And it's really in these last 5 years has transformed to people want to know the artist who's making that stuff just as much as they love the art. They want to know the person. For the stuff that you carve, Nicole, what inspires you? Because it is very kind of like alienish, and it's like, I mean, you have different periods of art too, but it always has like a nice texture to it and curve.
I like to touch things.
That's the end goal.
I So I grew up in Cape Breton in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
And like really close to the water. It's very rugged there. It's really like the rocks aren't like, some of the beaches have rounded rocks, but the rocks are like, you know, really super pointy. And then there's all the sea life and everything there. So that's a big part of it. And then the other thing is that there's it's not even a town anymore. I don't even know what it's called, but Sydney is like the city. And that's a good half hour plus away. So the stars were a major part of growing up, like the space stuff, laying out, watching, you know, meteors, checking out comets, eclipses, everything. So like that was a really big part of it. And then so there's the ocean, and then there's stars and space, and then there's just like bogs, because we only had 2 TV channels. So you like go down to the muck and you get your frogs and your fish, and you get really like into it, and come home filthy, but with like,
I can say I see a lot of nature in your art for sure.
Yeah,
it's a lot of nature, and it's like still going on now. Like I went for a walk the other day, and I was telling somebody else, I went for a walk the other day, and I almost had like not a, like almost like a panic. Like I was like, oh, there's birds. Oh my God, there's mushrooms. Oh my God, check out these fossils. Like I don't know what to look at.
You're just really, so inspired by everything. You don't know what to do.
I just wanted to look at everything. I was afraid if I looked over here, I'd miss that over there. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
That's my inspiration.
That's cool.
And horror movies.
That's where I'm out. No horror movies for me. I'm good.
Oh, you're talking to the wrong people,
funny.
I guess.
I know. Yikes. No. I like cutesy stuff. Like my stuff has that cute little cutesy face and it's more characteristic. Yeah.
I do like that too, especially now that I have a kid. It's like much more like there's a lot more cute stuff going on, and I totally appreciate that. But sometimes she's also like, Mom, it needs teeth. Like, can you put a lot of teeth? Like too many, like long ones? And yeah.
Vampire.
No, beyond vampire, like something else.
No, something else.
Wow. Apparently I need to talk to Nicole more. It's getting dark over here. I like it.
It's not me, it's my 5-year-old. She's like and she tells you nightmares, and you're like, and then what happened?
I could use that. Give me more info.
Give me more.
Mommy needs inspiration.
Yeah. Have you ever found yourself like, I know, like I actually started keeping a journal by my bedside because I would have like these like dreams or like this like vision as soon as I wake up, and I'm like, I gotta draw that, because if I don't draw that, like I'll forget within like seconds, or I'll fall back asleep. So I actually like started keeping a journal and like do a really, really quick rough out of what I was thinking, what I wanted to carve in my dream, you know, and you know, I actually did a video on that. I called it my dream bear. And so I actually still have him. I can't give him up because he was like my first dream carving that I wanted to do. So
that's so cute. No, I actually was talking to somebody about that today. Actually, they called it their dream journal.
Their dream journal?
Yeah,
that's
their
cool.
dream journal. Yeah, because like they were asking me if I had one, and I'm like, no, I don't. But I do have like 10 notepads that I write ideas in all the time.
Oh
like,
yeah, that's cool.
I have a book like that too, but it's just like it's not an anything book. It's like a list of things to do and everything like that. And the same thing with sketches, because another buddy once told me, assume you'll forget, because there's no what you think you're gonna remember. Like, oh, it's a cool idea, I'm totally gonna remember that. That's awesome. It's fish, got legs, and then you totally lose it. So I started doing that. And then do you guys find I do this thing where I write a calendar, and then I write all of the steps that need to be completed, and then I give them like, okay, do this by Tuesday, do this by Thursday. And it's not like you have to do it, but you have to do it by then, just as like a mental thing. And it can be stupid. It's like, just like put the wood here so that you remember to carve it. Make sure your bits are ready.
Yeah, things to help you for the future.
Yeah. I think it's really important to like prep for your next day too. Like prepping is really, I think, is key to have you keep going, to get like, because it's always, you know, like sometimes for me, like in the morning, I'm like, oh, I gotta get moving, and it's like so hard for me to like get moving. And then just having that like extra step that I did the day before really helped me to just you know, get out there and like do what I need to do.
Look at how efficient we all work.
It's
Look at us.
all women on here.
Right?
We're pretty organized.
Yeah, exactly. We all have like these systems that work for us, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, Nicole, like what made you get started? Like what was your first project that you did? Because it looks like there was like jewelry is kind of where you started and then it's progressed, but were you doing stuff before that?
Oh, I was like trying to sell stuff first, and my sister was like, or sisters were like, you should set up an Instagram account for that. And then I did that for a while, and I was like, and here's a bunch of random stuff. So that's how that happened. I did stuff before, but the carving, that didn't start until a little bit later, because when I first started turning 12 years ago, I was really focused on like, I had this awesome lathe that was from like the 1930s, and I had to like rebuild it and like get machine parts machined for it and everything. So it took a while to get that up, but once that was up and running, and then I did the round and brown thing, it got kind of boring. So I think it was like only 3 years ago that I really got into the carving.
Okay.
Yeah. And then at first it was like, you know, the spiral bits or whatever they're called with the chisel edges on it, or hand doing it. I've gone back a bit to the handwork, because sometimes you need the little diamond files to get in all the little tiny pieces, but I don't have the whisper bit yet, because I hear that's supposed to be sharp.
I've been liking them.
Yeah. So so I think this was probably the first big one that I carved, one of the octobowls, and then this one was the more elegant one, and that's where the jump off came.
So those are the ones that you have on your site there that you have like pinned?
Yep.
Well, that's cool. I wasn't sure that guy, pinned. Right? Yeah. It's so neat.
So those are like the original those are the original ones?
These are, yeah. You can't sell anything like that though. The amount of time that goes into it, it's just like, no. Maybe once like you get like a rhythm. Hard. Praising is so hard.
It is. It's like my least favorite part ever.
Yeah, so I started to look into production work, because I was like, I can't sell any of the things that I really like making. And then I was doing like spoons and jewelry and stuff, because you gotta be able to like crank it out, and you gotta be like consistent. It's hard to be consistent when you're like, oh, maybe if I do this.
Yeah. So what are your guys' favorite tools to use? Obviously chainsaw for Jenna. But like, is there a certain thing that you like get excited that comes up when you're carving?
I like the smaller saws because they're a whole lot easier to handle. And there's like the dime tip bars. So I really play around with like the 12 dime and the 8 dime the most, just because like that's where like the detail part really comes in. And then like with the Saburrtooth, like I love the eye cutter. I probably use use that thing. And like it's my first, and I've had it for 2 years now. So, and it's still doing great. I like the cylinder ones too. Like those ones are pretty nice for just like smoothing out like the smaller parts.
It's like there's so many little applications we use them all for.
There's From a Seed. I'm pretty sure it's From a Seed in Australia, who does like a lot of the repeating texture work with the different bits. Cool. And I think he's one of the representatives, so he really like goes into it. So like you can totally get all the different textures depending on how long he leaves it on there, how he repeats the patterns and the angles, like the flame bit and all those bits that have like changing diameter. They're really cool.
Someone was saying to me the other day, they were watching one of our videos and they were just like, I didn't realize like that would actually look good, just repeating a texture over and over again on something. I'm like, yeah, it's a quick way to make it interesting.
And then the cool thing for turners, if you don't like, or anyone, if you don't like sanding, is you do those textures over and over, and then you torch it, and it gets rid of all the burrs, and there's no sanding.
Yes. The magic of a torch. Yeah, that's smart.
Favorite one, the ball. The ball one.
The sphere,
and the flame too, because it gets in these like really weird spaces, but it's got that fatter end on it, so you can kind of angle it and get different shapes.
So do you find yourself using like what grit, like the green? I use a lot of the green.
Same.
Personally. I think that's just like a nice middle ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use the yellow and the green. There's no point in me going for the orange because
Yeah,
like
I
my
haven't
pieces
tried
are
the
small.
white. That's the finest one, isn't
That's
it?
the whisper.
I've been
Yeah,
loving them. Yeah. You guys
yeah.
gotta try them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll like it.
That's the next one I want to.
They take off a lot of material, not as much as the green, but close enough. They definitely take as much as the fine. Like, so
Oh,
if you're gonna buy a new one and you're like, oh, should I get the fine or should I get the whisper? I recommend the whisper
the
because
whisper.
just a little bit less sanding. My angle grinder with the green wheel, that's just
Yeah.
heaven. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Again, to talk about Cecilia, but she uses the extreme, the purple one, which is like that. Except, yeah, I'm like,
Gee.
girl,
Yeah.
you've got some guts.
Risk taker.
But that probably comes
Yeah.
with her experience though, because she's
100%.
like telling where, like how much she needs from it and everything.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
you kind of learn what you can do.
Yeah.
So Jenna, what was your favorite thing to carve? Like, what's your kind of favorite items to carve?
That's always such a hard question because I do a lot of like inventory, so a lot of stuff is like repetitiveness, and it's like once in a while, like I have custom orders lined up, but they're typically like bears and stuff, so I don't really get to make like really wowy pieces yet. Plus, like my shop's more online based, so I can't really make like these giant masterpieces that all these buff carvers are doing. I'd love to do it. That's why like I like going to these shows so I can learn from them and get a chance to work on like a masterpiece. But I feel like I finally figured out my style of a bear. So I've been really excited with that and just been going crazy making them because I love making them, you know?
That's awesome.
So,
yeah, everybody has their unique bear. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It like it's so cool too because like you go to these shows and you just take like a little bit of everybody, you know, and then like you just create your own work and it's like that's mine, that's it, that's my bear, and like people know too. They know like all the carvers are like, oh yeah, that's Zoe Dushai, or you know, that's Chainsaw Jenna's bear right there. It's cool.
That is neat. That's got to be like a whole different kind of family out there. Just
yeah, it is the Carver family. It's a great community. It really is.
Both of you guys actually are from big communities. Like wood turning is a huge community as well. Just thinking about that. There's not really like a in between one yet. We're building it. But you know what I mean? Like there's, for folks like me, I feel like I guess I kind of hang out more with like the woodworkers and stuff like that because of the CNC. So
yeah.
There's all these little tiny communities within the big community. It's kind of funny.
Is that what you're trying to do here? Is like start up a community of
100%
these carvers? That's a
bring the communities together.
Because there's so many. It's like there's some people coming from so many different backgrounds, like chainsaw carvings, wood turnings, and the CNC side. There's three very disparate things, and then you're drawing so much. Like you can teach so much, even if it's like unconscious or by accident. You can teach and share so much, and it just like enriches what you can do. Like for wood turning, a big thing. A lot of people follow ceramic artists because they do a lot of the the round stuff. They do different stuff with slip and different forms and everything like that. Cake making, like wedding cakes. That's how I got like these textures up here. It was like piping stuff on and everything. So I think that's really great to build up a community because you're going to get people from, not even just within like the woodworking community or the carving community, but you're going to get all these like, different backgrounds, different jobs and everything. I'm all for that. Let's do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I will learn.
Like, Jenna, how did you get your parents to finally let you carve if they were nervous about it? Was it just like an age thing? Like they finally felt you were ready?
No, it was more like they just wanted me to do my own thing. They weren't really like, they're just like, you do what you want. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Like I always wanted to own my own business. I wanted it to be creative and I wanted to be like free. And so they honestly were just like, do whatever you want. And when I got married and moved out here, like we just started doing it. So I remember the first like carving, it was actually a blue jay bench and Ben helped me put it together and it was hilarious. Like my carvings were not good. Like I grew up in the carving world, but my carvings are not good because I wasn't the one carving. It wasn't
Right.
like I started carving when I moved out here and started working on my own. Like I'm mostly self-taught. So it, but yeah, that carving was hilarious. Like I remember the bench being like so lopsided and you could like barely sit on it very well. And I'm like, oh, we're gonna have to like go back and fix that or fix this. But yeah, it's definitely been a journey for sure to get to like where I am now. And I feel like I'm like starting to get a little bit better. Like I'm not like the greatest carver out there, but I feel like I'm starting to finally like figure out
Find your
my
groove.
style and figure my groove and like how I want to run Chainsaw Jenna. So it's been a lot of fun.
What are your goals just to continue to grow it?
Yeah, like I want to make this a business. Like I want to be able to like support my family with this and have fun with this. Like we started this like during the pandemic. Like I actually got married in the pandemic and then like, you know, we're home and nobody was allowed to go anywhere or do anything. So and I was just like picking up that saw for the first time and just trying to make a bear and making it look like a bear. My goal is to be like, Ben, does this look like a bear? Like, and he's straight up honest with me too. So, yeah, it was like we weren't doing anything, and he's always filming stuff. So he would just like film me. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you filming me? I'm trying to work here. I'm like, I'm gonna accidentally hurt you or hurt myself.
Right.
But no, he's a risk taker, and like we love doing this. We started posting it, and we're like, let's just name it Chainsaw Jenna. Like we're just
It's
joking.
catchy. No, it's catchy though.
Yeah, we're just like joking with it. We're like, yeah, Chainsaw Jenna. Just keep it as that, and it's just been like a really fun journey. And then it actually like started to get like pretty serious, and we're like, whoa, like this is pretty cool. Like let's just keep doing it and bring smiles into the world because I feel like we really needed it back then too. So
oh yeah,
that was our main goal with all of that, and we're still like just having a good time and learning along the way. And now we're like traveling, and my last show that I just did is in Chambersburg, and I actually placed third with my masterpiece.
I saw that. Congrats.
Which was, thank you, which was like a huge crazy thing. Like I wasn't expecting that. Like I was going there and I just wanted to like learn from everybody else, but I really just like pushed myself to be the best that I could be. And yeah, it was a crazy outcome, but I had a lot of fun.
Still jealous you did it so young, you know, like find your dream, go for your dream, get your dream. But no, it's awesome.
I don't think you're never too late to like just
you're not.
And do it. Like just do it. That's like probably my best advice is to just do it, because you never know where it's going to lead you, and have fun. Like have fun.
And then Nicole, I want to know how you got into the photography though. Like did you have classes with that, or are you all self-taught with that too?
Yeah.
No, I for the photography, I'm actually an electron microscopist. That's my job, is to take pictures of nanoscale things with electrons instead of light.
Cool.
So, that's cool.
Which is also where a lot of the inspiration comes from.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
There's got to be a lot of textures.
Has to help.
Yeah, there's like weird textures and like really cool physics that comes from that. But because I do, like when you're taking, it's like taking photos for science, and you have to have everything just so when you're taking the photo, otherwise you're wasting their time and you can't, tell anything from the picture. So it started off with that. And then I had to do Photoshop to some of the stuff. Like you don't like mess with it. You don't like add nanoparticles where there were none, but you got to sometimes bring out your contrast and everything. And then at the same time I was living in Denmark. So it was like a lot of travel around and like, it's a long weekend, let's go to Sweden kind of thing. So I wanted to get a lot of pictures, and that's where photography. And that was like when you had to buy magazines to learn. So I have like magazines. So yeah, I did a lot of magazine stuff. And then it was just, I don't know, it was just really enjoyable. And it was like the color version of what I do. And then I just wanted to show the pieces in the best possible light and just get really intense. Also like I paint and stuff like that. So I'm like You know what I mean? Like you kind of
You're
get
always
used
thinking
to
of lighting. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like these rules of thirds and everything like that. So that's lighting and rules of thirds. And then my sister got me this. I don't know if I can take it down, but it's one of those ring lights.
Yep.
Yeah.
What the heck? It never helped. No, I've messed up my lighting.
I totally have one over here too. Gotta have your ring lights.
Yeah.
But that was because she was upset because I was using like Tinker Toys. I was like making my own stands and my own, like it's like dowels and then these pieces of wood and then you just build it up kind of like Lego. So I was using the Lego to build my stands and everything. It's like, oh my God, here's a tripod and a ring light.
He came over like to spend the $50.
Yeah. Now I already had the Tinker Toys. Like, so it was a lot of my work focused on photography, like how to give the most information in an image. And then it was traveling and wanting to capture that. And then I got like super into like nature photography, of course. And then I try to save that for my stories so that the Instagram itself is all like wood.
Yeah.
But I could like have a whole other account. I found like slime mold the other day.
You should, man. Yeah. Go for it. People want to see more. What's going on in your day? It stands out on your page. Like it's seriously just stunning. Like Jenna was saying, it's like it's hard to show how nice something is, but you do that. Like you show it so well. Yeah. I have a hard time with that. Like I just got a slab of wood, I put it on the wall and I'm trying to take the best photo of it. You know what I mean?
The
like
best lighting and whatever.
No casting of shadows where you don't want them to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you got to get up at like 6 to get the best light because I only use like the natural. I was only used before this. I was only using natural light and everything. So it was like get everything set up the night before and then like get up at 6, take 5 photos.
Yeah. Come on, she's dedicated. She was building rigs for herself.
Yeah.
I should show some of it, like some of the behind the scenes stuff of taking the photos. Like the one I did of that women in turning one where it's like the evolution of it was called ample reciprocity, and it's like the evolution of multicellular creatures.
The multiple pieces, right? Where you had
multiple pieces.
Okay, yes, yeah.
And then I did this thing where there's like the ring light rising up over it.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like that one.
Mm-hmm. I wore a black shirt with a black mitten on it so that I could do it.
That was funny. Yeah, but that would be cool to see how you did that. People would love that. Mm-hmm. I know I would.
Yeah, it was like just like jury rigging everything and like everything's held up with cereal boxes and stuff, but it's still like it worked out.
It worked, yeah. The behind the scenes are so funny.
They are.
They're just like those little personal moments. You almost wonder, like, is anybody else watching me? Like, if your neighbor walks by and sees you doing that, they're probably like, what in the world? Like, what are they doing?
Oh, yeah. It's like my dining room table will be like filled with all of this like wood, especially like mosses and like pieces of sticks and everything. And it's like, somebody comes in and it looks like a forest threw up on the table.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
But again, more passion about, like our art kind of invades our lives. I'm sure it does for you guys. Like I have the habit of bringing things from one part of the house to another part, putting them down. And then like, it's like, I'm going to bring it downstairs soon. Cause
I'm not done yet. I'm going to finish it and then I'll put it away.
I do half of my work upstairs in our garage or on our back porch. Then the other half is all down here in my basement shop. So it's just like I'm always kind of like
you're everywhere.
Yeah.
In the room,
just traveling dust everywhere. You know, guys, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on. I know it's we don't know each other, so it makes it hard, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was so good to meet you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, and now I know you guys, and it's when I'm sharing your stuff or watching it, it's a little bit better, because the person who made that. So,
and now we can talk more about horror movies when we're not talking about Instagram.
Yes, you can hit me up.
Right.
You can find people are into that.
I'd say Jenna can hit me up with any pop culture stuff, and then you hit me up, Nicole, with the horror movie talk. We got this.
Okay, yeah. There you go. There's
I like a lot of things.
Like keep these up.
Thanks.
These are really cool. I like listening to them.
Oh, it's a really good way to meet the people. I think it's really great for the community. I love communities.
Me too. No. And that's why I have my other one, the Maker Conversations podcast. It's the same thing. It's just people from that world, which, you know, they're all kind of starting to mingle, which is great.
That's cool. That's what we want. A bigger community. Let's just make it all one.
Yeah. I'm trying.
Well, you're doing great, Tiff. Thanks so much for having us.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Bye, Nicole. It was nice meeting you.
Bye, Jenna. Nice to meet you too. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Jenna and Nicole better. They are awesome, and we had a great time chatting and just learning about each other and our different styles. Makers Camp in the Catskills is coming super fast, and we are so excited. Jody from Saburrtooth has sent us the craziest box of carving burrs. There is a huge variety of 1/8, 1/4 inch, and the wheels for everybody to try with, all different shapes, sizes, and grit levels. So if you are in the New York area or you don't mind making a little trip, it is going to be an amazing time. I've been there twice now. It is a rustic camping environment. Everybody is really relaxed, and it is all hands-on. So you can go around from each booth and try something different, get your hands on some amazing power carving tools, of course, and then there's all different things like welding and blacksmithing. And it's just a really great place to meet some like-minded individuals who enjoy working with their hands like you do. All right, well, thank you for listening, and keep on carving.